Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Well, all right. Here we go with another episode of Unscripted. As you know, lots of things have gone on. A lot of things we're going to get to. Top 5 NBA super teams, such and elimination chamber, and all kinds of craziness, man. Logan, what's up, man? You ready for this? Uh-oh. I think Logan must have left me. That's okay. I think he'll be back. Hey, listen. So tonight we're going to start, I guess, with topic number 1. So let me go ahead and roll on up to topic number 1 while Logan comes back and sees me. All right, here we go. Derek Carr. Should the Raiders bring him back? That's a good question. Should the Raiders bring him back? Abso-freaking-lutely, and I'll tell you why. The Raiders should bring him back for a lot of reasons. Honestly, the guy threw for 4,804 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 picks, and he got a QBR of 94.0. And he made the playoffs. And you got to realize he went through John Gruden-less and all the issues, of course, that John Gruden ran into. And then he ran into issues with Ruggs, and, of course, what Ruggs went through. So, honestly, I don't know what to say for how well he's done it, because he's done it with pretty much almost nothing. And he also had a cornerback that also got a DUI, and I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. I don't think it was very good, but either way, he's done. So you got a quarterback gone, your number 1 wideout gone, and your coach is gone. And you're going to tell me you still make it to the playoffs? Really? And what kind of really surprises me the most is not so much is should they have brought Carr back, and I don't remember the guy's name, and I'm killing myself, but what I think it was Baseka or something like that. The coach, the interim coach that filled in for Gruden, they wound up letting him go, not even giving him the head coaching job. Given that everything he did, how do you not give him his job? How are you going to let him go? I don't quite understand that. So at some point, we have to ask ourselves, number 1, what are the Raiders doing? I feel like the Raiders are kind of in a weird mode right now where they're not really sure exactly what it is they're doing in terms of, you got the Raiders firing their coach, or not firing him, but basically letting go of their coach that got him there. And then you got, you're bringing in Josh McDaniel to replace him. And Josh McDaniel is not even a proven guy. Let's be honest. Josh McDaniel is not a proven guy, because when he went to Denver, he failed. Quite honestly, he failed. And so now he goes back to under Belichick. And then what happens? He basically, flourishes under Belichick as the coordinator. Then they bring him back out. And I don't quite understand what's going on with that and why you would do that. Logan, I'm talking about Derek Carr. And kind of the points I made, if you didn't see them already, because I know you lost your internet, was should we bring Carr back? I kind of touched on all the tribulations that Carr has gone through and what he's had to overcome, and the fact that he made it in the playoffs, and the fact that he had, almost 5,000 yards passing, 23 and 14 on the touch to interception ratio with a 94 QBR. How could you not bring him back, right?
No doubt. I mean, you can obviously see the flag behind me, Jay. This is my guy. This is my boy. But let me just get away from that for a minute, right? the NFL, we all know, is a quarterback-driven league, bar none. If you don't have a good quarterback, your team ain't doing nothing. Derek Carr's been in the league since, 2014, I believe. And every year he's just gotten better and better. He's been a solid quarterback, something the Raiders haven't had for a long time. And obviously they've been to the playoffs multiple times with him, including this past season, which was very well versed in adversity, seemingly every single week. So, of course, I would bring him back. It seems like he loves it in Las Vegas back when they were in Oakland also. And he said multiple times that he doesn't want to leave this organization. He likes Mark Davis and just the fan base and everyone else around him. So I don't think he wants to leave. And I definitely think the Raiders should bring him back because, especially, this year, Jay, we've talked about the free agency class isn't that good. Their backup, Marcus Mariota, is probably going to sign elsewhere, maybe as a starter potentially, or a fringe starter, who knows. I've seen that kind of thrown around recently. And, the draft class isn't nothing to behold, right? I wouldn't want to give up Derek Carr for a new guy when he's proven himself year in and year out. So I would definitely bring him back, no doubt.
Absolutely. And as always, this show is unscripted because at any given time we lose our internet, but at least one thing, that all the analysts on this show can cover their own.
Oh, no doubt. That's what we've been doing for years.
I know I've lost my internet about 1,000 times, and Logan be over there doing the whole show by himself, and I'm like, hey, coach.
But we're always here for each other. We're here for each other.
Hey, also, that's how we do it, Logan. You know how we do on this show. Hey, listen, let's go on to our next topic. Hey, by the way, Derek Carr, I think you're going to have a phenomenal year next year. If you can do that with very little to nothing, I kind of want to see what the Raiders do in free agency, draft, and so forth, and see what they put around you to get you going. And it's going to be interesting to see what Josh McDaniel does going on from here. All right, next topic. Should Goodell be extended as the NFL commish? And here's the thing, Logan, and this is what I want to kind of bounce off of you. Given everything that's gone on in the NFL, given everything that's gone on with these owners, and given everything that's going on with the lack of minority hiring, right? Given the responses that Roger Goodell has given out have been basically kind of generic responses to what seems to be a very serious issue, should we bring him back? He's on his fourth tenure right now. Typically, that's usually when commissions will be gone. They're talking about extending him. I would not be surprised if he does get extended. I don't think he should be extended. I think his reign is over with, and I think we should bring somebody else in and give a fresh look to it. What do you think, Logan?
Well, I think the rumors going around is he's getting a 2 or 4 year extension, one of those.
Right.
So it's looking like obviously that's going to end up happening unless something chaotic happens. But I would say before the lockout and everything that Roger Goodell is probably the most hated commissioner in sports, right? Seems like everyone loves Adam Silver. In the Rob Manfred has not made a lot of friends recently. But Goodell's been there for quite a long time, right? He's done a lot for the game in a good way, but also there's been some negative aspects as well, like you've mentioned with the firing, the hirings, the lack of minority presence in the coaching room. So I would want to see a change just because change is sometimes always a good thing. And I don't have too big of a gripe with Goodell. Frankie says he needs to be gone already. Everyone hates him. We see him every year. Yeah, that is true. And I don't know if you noticed it, Jay, but in kind of recent years, last 2 or 3 years, he's kind of played up to it. He's hyping up the fans. You can see there on the screen. He wants everyone to jeer him and to boo him. So right. He's kind of taken on this cult-like figure, right, where he knows everyone hates him. It's like in wrestling, right? He knows everyone hates him. He's biting on the fans. He's wanting to boo them and say awful things on Twitter, and they do. But, like I said, it looks like they're going to bring him back. We'll see what he can do in probably his last term, you would think. But, right. I always just like to see new guys in there just to shake things up. But it looks like they'll bring him back. So it is what it is.
My thing about this too, Logan, is a lot of the things that have gone on over the past, 5-6 months, whenever the Brian Flores story first broke and things like that they don't have enough black representation in upper level stuff. And for example, GMs or even owners. There's only six black GMs. There's 0 black owners. Is it time that we start looking at minority candidates for that job? In other words, almost have like an election at some point or something of that nature. You give it like a panel of even almost like a jury style, have 3 African Americans on a panel, 3 white people on a panel, or whatever makeup you want to do, but have a good blend, and then have that panel, meet up, listen, interview Roger Goodell for the job, interview 2 other minority candidates for the job, and then see who's the best fit, and then let's start it out at the top of the rung. Because if you got the Art Rooney for coaches, why can't we have the Art Rooney for the upper level management? And I understand the Art Rooney rule is ineffective, and I'm not saying to do it the Art Rooney style, but I'm saying bring in candidates of different backgrounds, have it go before a panel, almost like the NCAA. Go before a panel of different minorities and let them interview you with questions, and then choose the best candidate for the job. And then if we let that candidate then trickle down into the owners, the GMs, the coaches, and so forth. What do you think about that, Logan?
I'm not opposed to that, but there is one thing I want to add to it, Jay. If we're going full election style, I want to see it televised. Could you?
Yeah, why not? I'm good with that.
Could you imagine, Jay, the ratings this would get?
Oh, absolutely. I'm good with that.
If you had, let's just say, 5 or 6 candidates, right? But each week you see one get eliminated, and you get one eliminated. And then finally, maybe the week after the Super Bowl or something like that, you get to see who the new commissioner is going to be. He says, if he's in charge of the NFL, who's in charge of it?
That's true, though.
Honestly, I have no idea, Frank. I mean, you would think he's the top of the tops. I don't think obviously the U.S. government, right? But in terms of football,
it's got to be like that. You would think that there would be, I guess it's the owners, because look, any other corporation where you got stockholders holding the board accountable, and the board holds the CEO accountable, and so forth. But there's nothing like that here.
And he says, "Who's re-signing him?" I don't know how that process works, Frankie. If you want to Google that, I have no idea. It's not like he's getting a 3-year, $30 million contract. But I'm sure, like Jay said, it's probably a panel of guys who are just in the NFL association or whatever they're called, in the higher ups, right? The executives, whatnot. Who I don't know if they vote on it or what happens with that. That is a good idea, though, to see how that works. I have generally no idea.
But there's got to be some kind of way that we can make this hire, for the top of the organization. There's got to be some kind of way that you can make that hire, impartial. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's got to be a way. And I like the whole idea. Put it on TV. Let the world see, who's getting hired. I mean, be transparent. I don't know. Would the NFL want to be exactly that transparent? I don't know. But I wouldn't mind it if they were.
I mean, let's not forget, right, that Goodell has been the commissioner since 2006. That's quite a long time, right? That's over 15 years now. Before it was Paul Tagliabue, who was there for quite a while. And, it's just crazy that we've seen someone be the commissioner for 15 plus years with, I haven't heard anything about someone taking over for him, I mean, we knew with David Stern, right, that we knew that Adam Silver was going to be next in line for about a year, right, maybe 2. And then ultimately, that's when Stern stepped down, and Silver's been doing that. Same with the MLB. We kind of learned that Rob Manfred is going to take over. And for the NFL, we just kind of haven't really gotten that,
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And by the way, for listeners out there, please put topics into the comments, and we'll talk about those on future shows, because I really want to kind of get, and I know me and Logan talked about it, we want to kind of get the buy-in of what the people want to talk about. Obviously, current events are current events, but if there's anything outside of current events that you guys want us to talk about, hey, put it in the comments, and we will definitely cover it on the next episode of the show. So I encourage you guys to put topics in there, and let's see what you guys want to talk about. And having said that, Logan, I will move on to our next topic.
Let's do it.
Is Aaron Donald a top 5 defensive lineman of all time? It's interesting, Logan. I didn't really, I guess for some reason in my head, because I've seen him line up on the outside so much, I kind of thought that he was an edge rusher, but he's not an edge rusher. He's actually a defensive tackle. Plays the same position as Warren Sapp. And if you know anything about defensive tackle, I think Warren Sapp had like 96 sacks at that position. He's got about 98 sacks at his position. He did it in 8. I think Sapp did it like in 14. So you can see just on his position alone, where he stands. But you also, he lies on the outside too. So, you that number is kind of skewed to Warren Sapp's number because some of those sacks did come from the edge position. So I want to keep that kind of in perspective. But Aaron Donald, yeah, he's a beast. I'm going to give you my quick top 5, Logan.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to give you all the time to expand on your top 5, and we'll see where we land. Number 1, you got the minister of the defense, Reggie White, 13-time All-Pro, 13 Pro Bowler. I mean, 3 defensive players in the NFC, 2 in the defensive players in the NFL as a whole. Most sacks at 50. I can't read my writing sometimes. Most sacks, I believe, in the Super Bowl. He had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl. So he had most sacks in the Super Bowl, which Aaron Donald almost got, but he only got 2. So Aaron Donald was 1 sack shy of Reggie White's number. And he also was the master of the swim move. And we all know what the swim move is. And at that position, the swim move is kind of key to being a defensive lineman. Number 2, I got Bruce Smith, 11-time All-Pro, 11-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year, 200 sacks. And he's a leader. The guy was just a natural-born leader. And one thing I also want to point out is he had, in 13 years, he had double-digit sacks straight. So 13 straight years of double-digit sacks. That's Bruce Smith. And if you don't remember Bruce Smith from the Buffalo Bills days, that dude was a monster. At number 3, and I only got Aaron Donald at number 3 because right now he still has, he's only 8 years in, and I do expect him at some point to get close to either number 1 or number 2 and take over Bruce Smith. But right now, because he still has only 8 years in, I got him, at number 3 with 7 All-Pros, 8 Pro Bowlers, 3 Defensive Players of the Year. Just amazing. But as far as Aaron Donald goes, I put him above Deacon Jones and Joe Green just for the fact that he's done it in 8 years, and he's honestly by far the best defensive lineman, period. He just hasn't played long enough to overtake Bruce Smith or Reggie White. But his intangibles make him better than Deacon Jones and Joe Green. But at number 4, I got Deacon Jones at 173.5 sacks, 8-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler. Just a freaking nature, all-around guy. He was very fast end to end, from getting one sideline to the other sideline, just, all-around fast guy. So I got Deacon Jones at number 4. And last but not least, at number 5, I got Mean Joe Green from Pittsburgh in that steel curtain defense, 8-time All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler. And if you know Mean Joe Green from those commercials, that dude was a beast. And that rounds out my top 5. Logan, what do you got?
So let me throw this list together real quick, right? So I don't know if Donald's in there, man, only because he's still ain't done playing, right? He's in my top 10. I don't know about top 5 yet, though. If he can keep playing, because let's not forget, he's only 30. He's still got plenty of time left if he chooses to. I mean, there was those rumors that, he might be gone. He might be retiring after the Super Bowl. That's not going to happen. He said, as long as we bring all of their boys back, I'm coming back. So there's still a lot for him. There's still a lot of football left for Aaron Donald. But I'm going to throw some names out there that you didn't go with. No particular order, just some other great defensive tackles of all time, defensive linemen. And I'm surprised, Jay, you left out one of your boys.
Bob Lilly.
Yes, sir. I'm surprised you left out your Dallas Cowboy, Bob Lilly.
I know, man. And it hurt me to leave him off, but I'm just looking at I guess I'm giving it mainly to Aaron Donald because of the potential that he's showing in what he's done. But yeah, I mean, you definitely put Bob Lilly in there. No disrespect, Bob. Don't hate me.
Another name in there that I got thrown there is Alan Page, right? He played for a long time, 9-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion 1969, 2-time NFC Defensive Player of the Year, also just 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Jay, and he was an MVP in 1971. Big part of the Purple People Eaters back in the day. Yeah. And just overall, he's credited with 173 career sacks. So, I mean, he's up there, too, with some of the greats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, you mentioned Deacon Jones, Joe Green. You got to throw Merlin Olsen in there, too, right? Longtime LA Ram, recent Super Bowl team there. Shout out Freddie Henderson. That's his team. 9-time All-Pro. And then, Jay, a 14-time Pro Bowler. 14. Yeah. Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year in 74. Hall of Fame, obviously. Part of the fearsome foursome defensive front with Deacon Jones. Jay, could you imagine both of those guys?
Oh, my goodness.
Coming at you every week.
Oh, my goodness. And it is. I mean, the Rams had a hell of a team, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, those teams were great back then. And I'll just throw one more in there. I was going to throw Randy White. I might go with a different route, though. I can't have two, right? I can't have two Cowboys on the list. Got to throw Michael Strahan, right? Got to throw Michael Strahan in there. Longtime New York Giant. We all know what he did. Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year twice, Player of the Year in 2001. And, the all-time single-season sack record now tied with T.J. Watt. So definitely got to show him some respect, too. But, yeah, I would put Donald in my top 10 at the moment. But if he keeps playing the way he's going, Jay, definitely he'll crack top 5.
All right. And like I said, but hey, am I putting Bob Lilly in there? I mean, you're not going to put Bob Lilly in there, man. I mean, he is and I didn't want to look like I was giving partiality, but I
get it.
Man, I just think the kind of like the John Morant's ceiling is so high. I feel like Aaron Donald's ceiling is not even really been scratched yet. And with the amount of double teams and all the things that he has to fight through, the guy's just a crazy beast. But yeah, I get it. All right, next topic would be Hollywood Brown. As you know, he has retired. Some people I've seen where it was because of he thinks he can make more money in the civilian world doing other things, I think with social media and things of that nature. And then other people have said that it is basically because he feels like he wasn't getting enough targets, and that's really the main reason why he left, which I kind of get the targets thing a little bit more than I do making money in the outside world, making more money. So I think the whole targets thing really seems fair to me. If Hollywood Brown comes back, I think he's in a 5th-year pickup option. I don't think he's going to want to stay with Lamar Jackson because of the fact that he's a run-first guy. And he's not going to see the targets when he's a run-first guy unless Lamar just all of a sudden changes his style of play. So, let's just explore some other options of where you think he might go. I'm going to give you my 2, Logan, then I'll get your 2. My 2 would be number 1, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. You put him on the other side. You put him on the other side of Stephon Diggs, and they need speed at the wide receiver. That's one of the areas where they're hurting. They have Cole Beasley. They have Stephon Diggs, but Beasley's nowhere near as fast as Marquise Hollywood Brown. So you put Brown on the other side, then you got Beasley running the slot, and all of a sudden, this Buffalo Bills team looks pretty freaking dangerous. The other one I have putting him at most likely, and you got to figure they're going to have the cap room to bring him in. It would have been Miami, but the only reason I don't go with Miami, or I say no to Miami, is because of the fact that they already have Waddle, they have Parker. You probably could bring him over there and make that your triple threat, right? And it's also because Miami also has a good tight end. They have a halfway decent running back. He's not spectacular, but Gaskin is a decent running back. All they really are is just a true field general away. With that fearsome threesome, that would make even Aaron Rodgers want to go to Miami, don't you think? And especially with the cap that they have.
Not bad. Yeah, I'm going to touch on the retirement rumors first because it said that, he's unfollowed the Ravens on social media. He's deleted all their all that stuff like that. And, there was rumors coming out that he wants to pursue a career in professional video games. So if he wants to do that, he's earned more than enough money to go do other stuff. He doesn't have to play football forever. But I'm going to go with my 2 teams, Jay, who he could possibly go to. So first, I think that he could be a solid fit in Atlanta with the Falcons. Imagine him if Calvin Ridley comes back. Who knows? With Kyle Pitts also.
Oh wow!
And
they take over for Julio Jones had.
Yeah, because Kyle Pitts did great, but they lost Julio. And then the other team that is in need of a wide receiver, I think the Colts. The Indianapolis Colts. They got Pittman, who was solid. If you could,
they are getting older at wide receiver Indianapolis, so I can see that.
Plus, T.Y. Hilton he's been hurt or just hasn't been producing a whole lot in recent years. Whoever the quarterback going to be, because looking like Carson Wentz might not make it there another season.
He's already good. Carson Wentz is already gone. They let go of Carson Wentz.
Oh, did they? I saw rumors. I didn't see.
Yeah, no, he's gone. Carson Wentz is gone, man, which is really weird to me. Because I don't know why, and that's another thing too, Logan, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it is really weird to me that Indianapolis lets go of Carson Wentz, and there really is no true quarterback out there to take over for him, unless they plan to go after a Deshaun or try to make a move on Russell Wilson. But, I mean, I think they're really kind of shooting themselves in the foot letting go of Carson Wentz, my personal opinion.
Yeah, I see it here. So it says that I think sometime in March, early March is the deadline if they want to keep him or not. So they're going to try and trade him, right? And I see an article here, Jane. I want to get your opinion. If they can trade him, which one of these 4 teams, this is what I found on NFL Spin Zone. So these are the 4 teams that got listed. They have the Washington Commanders, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Carolina Panthers, and the Cleveland Browns. So which one of those four would probably be the best?
Man, I think, Washington could be really good. They got McLaurin over there.
Yep.
You could throw McLaurin. They got Logan Thomas as your tight end. A couple of other nobody wide receivers. You really only got two big targets you could really throw the ball to. Maybe Gibson, because Gibson can catch out of the backfield.
Yeah.
But then you also, but I'm really looking at Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. I like Pittsburgh. I like, I think personally that was it Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool. I mean, if he could revive Juju Smith-Schuster's contract, then I think Claypool is a brilliant wideout. If he could get him more involved, and of course they already had the defense and they got a good running back. I mean, they have a decent O-line, so I think Pittsburgh would be a really, really attractive destination for him to go to be honest with you. I think a little bit more than even Washington. I don't know if Washington's going to be as attractive as Pittsburgh if I'm looking where I want to go.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, they have to early March to see if they want to cut him. It looks like they're getting rid of him regardless, but you would hope that they would rather trade him and get something in return than just flat out cut him for nothing. So we'll see. Anthony Price is saying the Panthers getting rid of Sam Darnold year one. Oh well.
We all knew that Darnold experiment was only going to be as good as the first 3 games he played for him.
And then Frankie's saying that Juju's probably going to be gone. So we'll see.
Yeah. It was nice, Juju. I love that name, Juju. I always remember, you ever see them little candies? He said, "Hey, can I get some of your Jujus?" Yeah, whatever. Whatever. But all right. I think it's going to be interesting to see where he does go. I don't think he's going to be retired, Logan. I really think he
Green
comes
Bay
back.
would be a good option, though, Jay. Think about it.
Yeah,
they're going to lose Adams.
Yeah.
So you got to have someone fill in.
We'll have to wait and see. I personally think if I was him, the best destination for him would be Buffalo because they got a great quarterback. They got a great opposite field receiver. Mm-hmm. I just think Buffalo would be a hell of a destination for him. They still need to get a running back. Buffalo needs a running back, and they need an opposite wide receiver to help them with speed. And I think Buffalo is right. I mean, I think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. To be honest with you, if they can fill those two needs. Maybe throw a little bit on your defense because they got 50. Well, I don't know how much. I was thinking of 50 million, but that's actually Cincinnati that's got 50 million. Yeah. But I think Buffalo can tweak a couple of spots and be right in there. And Marquise Brown would be certainly a good add-on.
Yeah, I knew Frank was going to say something about the Patriots. I knew it.
He said what?
He put a comment. He said he's come to play with Mac Jones.
Oh Lord, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Get out.
Will Watson play before AB? Logan, I want you to start this one off. What do you think? Will Watson play before AB?
First off, I don't know who came up with this topic. This is if Antonio Brown plays another snap in football, I'm boycotting that team forever.
But somebody will take the chance. I swear to God, if you have talent, if you have talent and you're really knocking it a little bit off a little bit, somebody's going to take a challenge on him.
A little bit. Jay's doing jumping jacks in the end zone. After all the other stuff he's done, after throwing furniture and getting fake vaccine cards and everything, like, come on. But I would go with Deshaun Watson. I would want to be Deshaun Watson. If he's cleared of everything, let me get that out of the way. If he's cleared of all these charges, I would want him to play before Antonio Brown. So I haven't heard nothing recently, Jay. I don't know if that's moving forward or anything, if it's a standstill. Damien don't want to see him play it at all. Like I said, if any of that comes back negative, Jay, I don't want to see him in the league. But if it comes back that, it was all not real or whatnot, then I'd rather see Watson, I guess, over Antonio Brown, just because Antonio Brown played for my team and he screwed us over. So I already got some bad feeling toward him.
And I kind of agree with Anthony Price. I've heard AB kind of have some rumors out there about the Ravens. I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, look, Marquise Brown just left them. They don't have a true number one now at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a flyer on AB as a number one because you know what? I know this. They're going to get him at a dirt cheap price.
Yeah.
If I'm the Ravens, I bring him in on a 1-year deal. I give him maybe I give him a 1-year incentive-laden deal just to give him a little incentive to do the right things.
We'll do something.
You know what I'm saying? I give him an incentive-laden 1-year deal, and if he pans out, okay, maybe we can talk long-term. But give him a 1-year shot. You're going to get him dirt cheap. But if you don't pan out, it's not a big deal. You can cut him at any point you want to. And God knows you'd have enough ammunition to give him if you needed to. And I think you give him a shot. Just get, and so that's why I think possibly he could come back before Deshaun Watson. Because here's the deal with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's going to play. Let's just be clear on that. He's going to play. There's not a criminal charge against him. It's just a civil lawsuit. At some point, he's going to settle these civil lawsuits. It will happen. And he will get, because he has conduct detrimental to the league or whatever they call it, he'll get a little suspension from Roger Goodell or whoever the commission is, if not the team. It probably will come from Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
And he'll probably serve a suspension, maybe a 4 or 5 game suspension, and then he'll be ready, locked and loaded, ready to go. So he's going to play. It's just a matter of who is going to play for and when he can get these lawsuits cleared up. And that's really kind of where it boils down to. And that's why I kind of have AB going before Watson, because I think it's going to take him a little time to get these lawsuits settled. And that's really the only thing holding him back.
So AB will always want the ball first, but it's a run team, so he might go off. You never know, man.
And that is true. Now, hey, listen.
He could go off,
he could.
Off the roster again.
Hey, I don't put nothing past AB or anybody else in the league that has us, it has us crazy. Like, he kind of remind me like, he's not as bad. I mean, Terrell Owens just had a mouth. Terrell Owens, he was a cancer just like AB was, but Owens is a little bit more controlled cancer. I mean, he wouldn't. I don't think he would do cartwheels and take his jersey off.
No.
But he certainly, if you remember the days in Philadelphia when he had Donovan McNabb's ear and he's yelling at him on the sideline. Yeah. I mean, AB can be kind of cancerous too now. I mean, not AB, Terrell Owens can be.
And also, let me just say, if people talk about Terrell Owens and Randy Moss and whatnot and how they were, loudmouth and everything, but at least they had some nice, and Chad Johnson too, right? Chad Johnson was so cocky, he changed his last name to his number.
Ocho Cinco, baby.
But the thing about all three of those, Jay, that Antonio Brown doesn't have, they had great touchdown celebrations.
They did.
You remember?
I mean, pulling the marker out, pulling the cell phone was Joe Horn, but man.
Going to the Star in Dallas, right? And planting.
God.
That was iconic.
I didn't want to remember that. Listen, I still got nightmares, man, of watching them do that on our Star logo. I was so angry. And I think Emmitt Smith went out there one time and confronted somebody at the logo Star, tell them not to do that kind of stuff and whatnot. But
I know I forget who it was, but they laid them out though. They
they laid him out good.
But they didn't take it easy. I know that.
All right, we're going to switch over to a little bit of NBA, and we're going to talk about these top 5 best super teams out there. And Logan, I went first on the last one, so I'm going to let you take this one first. And let's see what you got.
Man, we did the worst one on Thursday. Of course, that was fun, right? That was fun looking at some of the teams that just couldn't make it. So in no real order, gotta go with obviously the 96 Bulls, right? With what they were able to do. Second best record of all time. Got the chip. Second time, my second favorite, I gotta go with the Warriors, right? Best regular season of all time. Couldn't get it done, Jay. How could you not get it done with Clay, with Steph, with KD, with Green? That was a great team, but I mean, they got more than enough championships to make up for it. Also, oh man, there's so many good super teams. It's fun to watch, right? And I gotta go. So my next one, there's a lot of people that kind of give this team less credit, but I gotta go with the 08 Celtics. As good as they were, with probably, the real first big 3 of teams going and changing and going over from free agency and trading and whatnot. You got to put them on there, I think. I know they only got 1 ring, right? But they were able to do so much with it, though. And, I mean, kind of changed the culture of the NBA because let's not forget, what was it, a year or 2 later? That's when we saw LeBron leave Cleveland, go to Miami, and the rest is history, right? So you got the 07-08 Celtics, right? Got the Bulls. And I'm actually going to go with the Celtics twice, Jay. I'm going to dip my toes in there twice because that 85-86 Celtics team was pretty nice, too.
Yeah, it was.
Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. Man. And then MVP, Bill Walton, former MVP as your 6th man. Oh, man. Plus they're on the screen.
Yeah.
Had to put them in there. And then for my last team, I was going back and forth with this one, Jay. I'm going to have a 5 and a 6 because I just can't do without it. I got to go with those Lakers teams, man. I got to go with those Kobe, Shaq, Rick Fox era, all those just awesome teams in the late 90s, early 2000s. that was like the original dynasty for that millennium, and you got to throw them there. And then also a team right after them, pretty much. I got to give the San Antonio Spurs with Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, Rick Beard, all those guys. So those were my 5 and 6 there. But man, there's a bunch to look at though. Who do you got in your top 5?
And before I say anything, I don't have the Bulls in there, even though they were a great team. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Because the Bulls were more – when I think of a super team, I think of a team that, you brought in free agents to make a super team. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the Bulls are more just – look, what makes the Bulls so great is they didn't have to bring free agents in. The only free agent they really brought in was Rodman. And he wasn't – and Rodman was only there for what, maybe like 2 or 3 of the 6, I believe. Yeah, he wasn't there for all 6. So I kind of think the Bulls are more of an organic, an organically great team. So that's why I don't have them down as a super team, because I really kind of base it on teams that brought in free agents to make themselves a super team.
I got you on that, Jay.
All right, so here we go. So this is what I got. I got at number 1. I got the number 1. I got the Golden State Warriors 2014 to 2017 season. That's when they had Curry, Green, Thompson, and then at some point, I think around the 15 or 16 season, that's when they brought in Durant. Yeah, and if you remember that, they went 73-9 that year. I think it was the second best record, only to, I believe, the Michael Jordan 72. No, I think that was
they had the best record.
Yeah, because it was the Bulls at 72-10 or something like that. Yeah,
and then
they
the
come out to
73-9. That's why I put the Bulls in front of the Warriors, just because even though they lost one more game in the regular season, they got the championship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because if you know that season, even though they had the impeccable record, obviously they lost the title, unfortunately. But number 2, I got the Cavs, 2014 to 2017 season. And then, by the way, I didn't put this in a particular order. I apologize. I really should have. But these are just my 5 teams. Because honestly, I'm going to get to the Lakers in a minute. So if I had to put any, I still got Golden State number 1. Actually, let me go ahead and put this in order. At number 2, I got the Lakers. 2002, 2009 to 2010 seasons. I got 2 different times for them, because that's when you had Kobe and Shaq that dominated the NBA in the early 2000s. That's when they had that 3-peat. And then they brought Kobe back in for the second go-around with Pau Gasol, and they got the back-to-back titles. So that's why I got them there. And then I got Golden State, obviously, because they had, for what Golden State did during their years. And then if I'm picking it back up, I'm probably going to go Boston. Nope. I'm going to go Miami Heat at number 3 for the 2010, 2014. That's when they had Wade, Bosh, and James. They got 2 titles, and they also had 4 straight title appearances. And then at number 4, I got the 2007 to 2012 Boston Celtics. So that was Paul Pierce, Garnett, Allen, and Rondo. They won 42 more games than the previous season before they got those guys. And then they beat Kobe and the Lakers in the finals. I believe it was the Western Conference Finals in 2000. Is it 2010?
Yeah,
I believe it was, or is it 08 or 10? I can't remember what. I think it was 2010. They got them, and then they won division titles in 08 through 2012. So that's where I got them at. And then of course, because if you remember anything about that Boston Celtics team, their defense was freaking phenomenal. Like it was so hard to score a basket on those guys. Yeah. It was stupid.
And let's not forget, Jay, Doc Rivers has been coasting ever since.
And he's been coasting ever since. You're absolutely, and that's why people say that Doc Rivers was managing personalities and this, and he was managing personalities. Right, but let me tell you something. I could have brought a psychologist in and had him do the same thing, manage personalities, and that team still would have won all those days. It still would have won that title. That's how gifted they were. So if all that makes him a great coach was the fact that he managed personalities, well, look what he did afterwards. I don't know, man. I think with that Boston Celtics team, all you need is somebody who can manage people, and you're going to win a title.
Right.
It is what it is. The last one I got to round this one out was the 2014 to 2017 Cavaliers, and that's when they had James, Love, and Irving. And after the Warriors' 73-9 season, you know who beat them. And let me tell you something about this season. They actually went down 3-1.
That's true.
In the finals, and they came back and won. So not only did they win it, but they had to come from behind to win it. And this is a team that's 73-9. That's a pretty impressive feat. And that was when James truly could put a team on his back, when he was young enough to put a team on his back and take him to the promised land. And that's pretty much my top 5.
Okay. Yeah, Frankie saying Ginobili, yeah, he is in the ballot for Hall of Fame. I think he'll get in, Jay. He's had a great career with the Spurs. And then Price was saying, no one said, I did, Anthony. I said the Spurs. I mentioned them. Don't worry. You got to throw them in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, you can say the Spurs, but really, I mean, let me ask you a question. What free agents did they really bring in? I mean, that's another team that was kind of organically put together.
I mean, yeah.
The only one I think they brought in was Kerr, maybe, right?
I can't. Oh man, I can't.
I'm pretty sure Manu Ginobili, they drafted him. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. And then also
Parker, they drafted Parker. They drafted Duncan.
Right.
They did bring in Robert Horry.
Yeah.
So I guess you can say they did bring in 2 free agents. They brought in Horry. They brought in Kerr. Those are the only 2 free agents I could think of.
Yeah, but I mean, also you could say kind of the same thing for the Warriors, right? Because they drafted Steph, they drafted Clay, they drafted Draymond, and they won a championship even before they had Durant.
Well, no, they did. No, they did.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, then they added him on to just make him unbeatable and in every way.
Right, you know what, Anthony Price? I'm going to give that one to you, and I'm going to kick. Who am I going to kick out? I don't know, man. I don't know who I'm going to kick out, man. I'm not going to kick out Miami. I'm not going to kick out Golden. It's either going to come down to either the Cavs or the Celtics. You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to kick out?
I'm gonna because they came back from 3-1 in that perfect season. Yeah. I gotta give Cavs the love, because they both have one championship apiece.
Plus, we both have the Celtics, so
so I'm gonna kick out the Celtics, and I'm gonna add the Spurs, and because that is a good point. I agree with you. I'm gonna kick out the Spurs, and I mean kick out the Celtics, and I'll add the Spurs into that one. And that was a good team. And Popovich is such a great coach, man. It was ridiculous. And we move on. But let's keep it moving. I like where we're going with that, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And you know what tells me though? There's a lot of damn super teams. Even the Rockets had a super team. The Rockets brought in Barkley. They brought in Pippen, but obviously you know how that turned out. It was actually one of the worst super teams put together.
We talked about that on Thursday.
Yeah, we sure did. Dang gum Rockets.
What are you gonna do, man?
I'm gonna cry. That's what I'm gonna do, Logan. But that's okay. I'll cry on my off time. I'm not going to cry on air. Hey, let's talk about this Elimination Chamber review. Hey, Logan, I'll tell you right now, the first one I want to talk about was Goldberg versus Roman Reigns.
Let's do it. First match of the night, right?
Oh, man. He got him on the sleeper hold. He put him to sleep.
Got him in the guillotine, Jay. Got him in a nice chokehold. At the end, pretty short match, right? Nothing too big. I mean, you knew they were going to hit some good spots. Goldberg's going to do his stuff, hit the spear. Couldn't hit the jackhammer. He did his best. Couldn't do it.
Does Goldberg come back again, or is that just like a one and done thing?
I think it said he's done with his contract now, so I don't think he's going to sign. He's 55, 56. I mean, he's been doing this for 5 years now, just coming back and getting title shots. So
it's still pretty impressive what he can do at 55 and 56.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He still is in great shape for his age, obviously. But I think that's probably the last we've seen of him. But you know how much money he probably got paid? Good. Let alone just for WWE, but in Saudi, like Anthony Price said, they were in Saudi Arabia, Jay. They got some money to spend there. But
I get it.
It was a good match, and obviously I felt like Reigns should win with WrestleMania in a little bit over a month.
Then we'll kind of move into Drew McIntyre took on what's that guy's name? Mac something.
Madcap Moss is his name.
Yeah, Madcap Moss and Happy Goldberg or
Corbin.
Yeah, there you go. And Drew McIntyre won that one. I mean, he tore the suspenders off that dude.
Did you see how he landed on his neck with that one move though?
Yeah, man. That scared me. I don't care if you think that stuff's fake or not, which, I mean, come on, whatever. No. But that stuff still, to be able to do that and not kill yourself is crazy. I'm
about to say he swung the sword at the end, almost chopped someone's head off.
Oh, yeah. That was wrong.
Ain't going to hit.
Good God, man. What if that – that's a stunt, number one. But number two, what if that stunt went wrong, man? Oh, my goodness.
Dave saying he didn't really care for the pay-per-view. We'll ask – we'll get through all the matches, Dave. You can put in the comments what you didn't like. I mean, like clear examples, because that's too vague right there.
It feels like somebody needs to get Peacock.
I know. I'm about to say. Let's go to the first chamber match, Jay. The women's chamber match.
Yes.
With Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki ASH, and Alexa Bliss. And the winner is gonna compete at WrestleMania 38 for the Raw Women's Championship. And Bianca Belair got the win in that one. What did you think of the match?
I thought it was great.
Good match.
She got the win. Correct me if I'm wrong. She got the win over. No, was it Liv? It was Alexa Bliss. She got the win over. Yep. And man, Bianca Taylor, man, she's a strong girl.
Yeah, Belair's
strong. She had no problems. She had no problems manhandling Alexa Bliss.
You can see the muscles on her, Jay. You can see she don't miss any workouts. Yeah,
I mean, she manhandled Alexa Bliss. And, and of course, I told Frankie that I had Bianca winning it. And then Frankie ruined it for me. He goes, yeah, Jay, because she's going to be in this next WrestleMania. I mean, and I'm like, well, damn, I didn't know that. Why don't you let me enjoy it, Frankie? So Frankie ruined my whole my whole Elimination Chamber experience. But that's okay. He didn't mean to, and I love Frankie.
It's okay. But, yeah,
I
like the match.
Man, it was crazy. I think Ash was the first one to go out, right?
Hold on, let me see here. I got the
Ash was the first one, and then I think it was Liv. It was Liv. What's her name? Liv Morgan. She was the second one to go out.
Let me see. Yeah, Ash got eliminated first, then Doudrop, and then Morgan.
Doudrop.
Yeah, and then Ripley was the second last, and then Bliss was the last one. But
I really thought Doudrop could have done better, man. That girl was manhandling them at the very beginning. She was putting it on. And there was one point, I think, where I don't know if it was Ash or Liv, but one of them went up to her and said, "Hey, let's tag team this." And
they did.
Of course, she hit him and said, "Hell no, we ain't being no tag team. There's no tag team in elimination."
Yeah, but that was a good match though. I enjoyed it. It didn't go too long, and I feel like the right person won, Jay, because we'll get to it in a minute. But that we'll go ahead and talk about now the Becky Lynch and Lita match for the Raw Women's Championship. Very good match. I liked it.
There was points I thought Lita was going to win that. Honestly,
and the crazy part is, Jay, that was her first match back in WWE probably 15 plus years. She looked great. Like she hadn't missed a beat. She looked good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll get to the end, Frankie. Don't worry. We're building it up. But no, that was a pretty good. That was a really good championship match, though. I liked it. Like you said, there was parts of that match where you thought that she might actually win. And, overall, very good match, though. I wish you could see her maybe come back for WrestleMania for one more match, Jay. You never know. We'll see.
And Frankie, you did kind of ruin it because you knew I was a newbie and you knew I didn't know all these things. You could have just let me experience it for the first damn time.
You could have just messaged me personally, Frankie. I would have been with you right now.
Like, once he said that, I was like, why the hell am I watching? If I know who the winner is, why am I watching this craziness? But it was good. I am glad I watched it. It was pretty cool.
That's the thing, Jay, is me and Frankie are in too deep. You see,
I know, man. You guys are like
the time. You guys
know this stuff. I'm still like a young buck. I'm like green behind the ears on this stuff, man.
They even saying this should have been called Evolution 2 because all the women's matches were better than the men's. Yeah, that's a good point to mention, Damien. Because Jay, they had I think it was 2018, 19 maybe. They had an all women's pay-per-view called Evolution. It was all women's matches. First time ever done. They haven't done a second one. There's been rumors, obviously, but there hasn't been anything confirmed. But it was good night overall for the women.
But then we get to the tag team match. I think it was the Viking. Was it the Viking brothers?
The Viking Raiders and
Viking Raiders.
They didn't even do nothing. That wasn't even a match.
Man, they were coming out, and then they get blindsided before they even get to the ring. And of course, it was over with before they even got to the ring.
Jay, I feel like they could have done something better, right? Because they were just beating them up and. The last thing you saw was these are big guys, right? 300 plus pounds. But the last thing you saw was one of them getting suplexed onto the other one, knocking out the win, right? Couldn't they have got a chair or something better? They could have done something better with that. But that was it. There wasn't much going on there.
And then, of course, I think who was the one after that? Was it?
Let me see. Oh, we haven't talked about the. It
was Sammy. Was it Sami Zayn or whatever his name?
No, he didn't have a match.
Okay, it was somebody else though. It was in there.
Yeah, I think I'm only looking at two more matches here. Naomi and Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Ronda came out in the blue gi. Because
that's where Ronda had to tie her arm behind her back.
Yeah, it was. It was a match.
That wasn't really all that good. I didn't.
They're really just trying to get Flair and Rousey hyped up for WrestleMania. They just had to have something here, But I probably could have done without this, honestly. It wasn't. I just didn't care much for it. But I think we only have. Yeah, let me make sure here. Yep. All right, yeah, we got Jay. We're at the main event, the men's elimination chamber, of course, with Bobby Lashley, WWE champion, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Riddle, and Brock Lesnar. So, man, that was a match.
It really was. Honestly, it really was. And I mean, honestly, I really thought that was the best match of the evening, to be honest with you.
It was fun to watch. Anthony says, Anthony, what did we forget? Was it the pre-show match? Because I didn't watch the pre-show.
Yeah, I didn't catch the pre-show.
The pre-show, I think, was Miz and Mysterio, and I think Miz won, but I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I can't speak much on it. But Jay, what did you think about the men's elimination chamber? Because we know now that it came out that Bobby Lashley got a concussion, like legit, and that's why he got taken out of the match because he got knocked loopy.
So because I know. Look,
that was real. Yeah, that was.
I know some of the stuff in storyline, but that was actually
that was actually because what happened is Seth Rollins powerbombed. I think it was Theory through the glass pod. And I think what happened was Lashley's head hit like the steel beam, which knocked him out cold. And so that was, I think that was probably what was going on. But after that, man, it just got crazier and crazier.
Yeah, it was Austin Theory that went through the glass and got him, right? And it was who was it that did? Was it Styles? Or was it Riddle that kicked him into there?
It was. I'm trying to think. Cause I know what you're talking about. Someone got kicked in, but I just don't remember who it was off the top of my head. But
it was Austin Theory that got kicked into Bobby Lashley, and I want to say it was Riddle that it was either Riddle or it was AJ Styles that kicked him.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
either way, so he goes through there and hits him. I was like, damn, and then I'm like, well, crap, now we're not going to have a freaking. Because nobody cares about all the people that were in there. We only care about two, and that's Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That's the only two we really care about. And the two that we cared about, one of them obviously wound up winning it, and the other one got knocked out unconscious. And I'm like, but I will say this. When Brock Lesnar, and I believe it was Austin Theory, and he threw Austin Theory off the top of the pod,
which is like
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, because that's a steep drop, Jay. That's a pretty good fall there. And that was the end of the match, thank God. But man, because they were chasing each other around, right? And then you saw Theory climb up to the top of the pod, and I thought he was going to get suplexed off first. But then once you saw him hit the F5, hit his finisher onto the floor. Right. And I'm like, at first I thought, this guy's going to break his leg or whatever, because he landed on his feet, kind of, right? Just kind of falling back. But, I mean, they didn't really do much with Rollins or Riddle, because those guys just were getting beat up, Jay, by Brock Lesnar. Because
I will say this.
Through the pod.
bro, because the first one went off, and it was supposed to be Bobby Lashley coming out. Obviously, that didn't happen.
And then that meant that Lesnar was going to have to wait. He said, I had enough.
Brock's like, oh, hell no, I'm out of here. It kicks the freaking plexiglass. And I will say this. When Brock comes out, all you saw was bodies going left, bodies going right, bodies going up and down. That dude just ran through them dudes like they were like water.
Yep. He put some hurting on him, man.
And I agree. I thought Austin Theory was too small to really kind of be in this one. Even Riddle's kind of small to be in this one, man. Them dudes had so much weight on them. I mean, unless you're just going by the storyline, and I get it. They can write things into the story and make them win. But dang, man, them dudes were, Brock Lesnar, a guy like Styles or even, Bobby Lashley. Those dudes are like freaking big. I mean, they're strong, big dudes.
Yeah. Frankie with an update on the skills challenge right now. He said Team Cavs win the skills challenge. So start of All-Star weekend, right? Get things going on there. But overall, I mean, it was a good pay-per-view. And then WrestleMania is in April. And the big match, Jay, for I'm assuming night 2, we're going to get champion versus champion. We're getting Lesnar versus Reigns for I forget how many times we've done this now.
By the way, for those of you that since we're talking about WrestleMania before we go on to the next topic, Unscripted is planning. We don't know if it's going to be both nights yet. We're assuming it's probably going to be both nights.
Right.
But we're looking at probably, obviously, what is it? April 2nd, April 3rd. We're going to try to do online shows. So,
so we'll probably have, if we're, like I said, if we're doing the Saturday show, we'll do it live like normal. We're doing Sunday, we might just take Saturday off. We'll figure something out. We'll let you know.
We'll figure it out. But we are going to at some point either cover both days or one day. So just stay tuned. More information to come out on that. All right, next topic. Next? Oh, Major League Baseball training is. Here's the deal, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, but we'll make this
to talk about.
Hey, listen. Here's my thing. Here's what I think is going to happen, Logan. I'm going to give my quick 2 cents. So you give me yours, and we'll move on to the next topic. When it comes to Major League spring training is if we do, they gave the deadline of the 28th, and I believe that's like 9 days from now. So you got 9 days from now to get this thing resolved. And if they could get it resolved if they can get it resolved by February 28th, then we should have a full season of baseball. I personally don't think that's going to happen because Major League Baseball players aren't going to let that happen. They have pretty much dug their heels into the dirt and said no to mediation. So I can't imagine how 9 days, especially after a 15-minute interview, is going to change anything. So I do expect at some point it's going to go into the season. How far into the season is still to be determined. But I do expect now, given what we know, that I think the regular season will be at least shortened. And I don't know how many games it's going to get shortened by, but it will be shortened. Logan, thoughts and perspectives?
Yeah, this season ain't going to get the whole 162, right? Or it's I don't see it happening. Because, Jay, you're basically going to cut out the majority of spring training, right? Which is, for the most part, conditioning for the star players. And for the minor league guys who aren't doing nothing right now, this is their chance to crack a roster, Jane. They're not even going to get the chance. Also, we see something here. Frankie the Yankees come back soon. We'll definitely hype that up when it gets to a closer date.
Because we really kind of miss Frankie the Yankee.
We do miss Frankie the Yankee. But with no baseball going on, Jay, we could do college baseball because at least that's getting played. But,
man, I think so.
Going on, man. Yeah, because college just kicked off, I think, the other day. So that's the only baseball we got right now. Ain't no minor leagues. Ain't no major leagues, and they got to figure something out, Jay, because I need my baseball.
All right. We're going to transcend one last time in the wrestling realm. We're going to talk about The Undertaker, and this is what I know about The Undertaker. And I'm going to make this as quick as I possibly can.
Let's do it.
He debuted in 1990 in the Survivor Series. His name is Mark Calloway. WrestleMania win streak and rings walks is legendary. And if you know him, you know his WrestleMania win streak, I believe, is at 23. 23 before he lost it. And I believe he lost it to none other than, and I thought I had it written down, but I don't have it written down. But
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, thank you. And I'm pretty sure I have it written down. I just can't read my writing. He lost it to Brock Lesnar. But, one thing you know about Undertaker is he always did things the Undertaker way. He didn't go into movies. He didn't change up anything. No. He protected the integrity of the Undertaker. And what I mean by that is he never did anything that was going to be contradictory to what the Undertaker character is all about. Everything he did represented 100% pure Undertaker. And I really believe that's what led into how long he was able to keep it viable and keep that character relevant is all the time and effort he put into the integrity of it and the things that he did. And if he was a seven-time tag team title holder. He partnered with Stone Cold, The Rock, Big Show, and Kane. And he basically feuded. And if you remember it, he put Hulk Hogan on the back of that motorcycle by a rope and drug his butt away. So obviously he feuded with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, John Cena, and Mick Foley. And one thing I'm going to say about Mick Foley is you cannot ever forget on top of it was Hell in a Cell, correct? Hell in a Cell on the top of the cage, and he throws them off and throws them down. That is like freaking legendary.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's seen that, whether if you watch wrestling or not. You've seen that clip somewhere, I'm sure.
Yes. But that was wrong. His WrestleMania win streak is 21 times, and you're right. It was Brock Lesnar that took it to an end. By the way, so if he ended the streak with Undertaker, could he then end the streak not only with Bobby Lashley but with Roman Reigns? How interested would that into what he did with Brock? What he did with Undertaker?
Yeah, because Reigns has been champion for a very long time, right? Over a year, maybe 2 years now, and I mean, he very well could. Jay, he's done it before, and he's obviously won a lot of big matches, so he very well could, beat him at WrestleMania. But we'll see how that goes. But talking about the Undertaker, man, he's done a lot in wrestling. So you mentioned he debuted in WWE in 1990. Well, let's not forget he was wrestling even before that. He was wrestling in WCW for a little bit. He was wrestling all in just some other territory at the time, because he's been wrestling since the 80s. Like I said, he joined the WWE in the 90s. Was there for a long time. Known as the Undertaker, the one you see on the screen with the Paul Bearer, his manager, and had the urn. Then went away for a little bit like Anthony said, came back as the American Badass with the bandana and riding the motorcycle, right? Something different. Then you see him go back to the Dead Man character in the early 2000s. Keep it going until last year, right? 2020, I think was his last official match. And obviously he got older. He had a bunch of injuries piled up. And I mean, the last couple of years weren't too memorable. He wasn't winning championships or nothing, but he was just out there having matches, usually once per year at WrestleMania. And, I mean, glad he was getting Hall of Fame. Obviously not surprised. But, I mean, he's had a ton of amazing moments. Like you said, the WrestleMania streak he had for all those years, all of the good matches he's had at various other pay-per-views and Raw and SmackDowns. And, yeah, I mean, just a very legendary career. We could probably do a whole show on if we wanted to. But, glad he's going in, and we'll see who inducts him, Jay. Was going to be
real quick, maybe
we'll see.
Maybe I said Ric Flair, but I meant Mick Foley off the top. I
said Mick Foley.
I thought I said Mick Foley too, but he's saying Mick Foley, not Ric Flair. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Either way, it was a hell of a throw.
There you go.
Damn, Frankie.
Frankie's saying Roman's been champ a year and a half. He won it in summer of SummerSlam 2020. Yeah, so we'll see, Jay, because the winner gets both titles. And also, I'm going to throw this out there before we move on to our basketball topic. Frankie says something in our Facebook group chat, says something he found on Facebook. It's being reported that Bobby Lashley has a legit shoulder injury and has had one since the Royal Rumble. He will apparently be undergoing surgery and is going to miss about 4 months of action. So,
damn!
We will probably not
that
see
means
him
Bobby Lashley won't be at WrestleMania.
It does not look like it, and it's a shame. Oh, well. We'll see that.
That is a shame, because that really takes away from the whole story. Because and I agree with it. We saw earlier, they would have had Bobby Lashley I think it would have been that 2-day thing. Where the first day would have been Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, and then the second day would have been the winner of that probably would have taken on Roman Reigns to unify the titles.
It is what it is. Oh, well, it's injury.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah. It's all right. All right, Jay.
We're gonna move on, though. We're gonna move on to DeRozan. Is he being disrespected by lack of MVP conversation? And honestly, I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal with it, and this is just my take on it. A lot of times, we tend to overlook the non-sexy picks for the sexier ones. What I mean by that is LeBron's sexy.
Yep.
Embiid is sexy. Giannis is sexy. Steph Curry would be a sexy pick. Joker's kind of a non-sexy pick as well. He's not really – he's kind of the same category, I think, as DeRozan. No matter how well you play, you always get kind of overlooked. Durant's a sexy pick. So we tend to overlook, when things are happening around us that puts them in MVP conversation realms. And let's be honest, with the Bulls, DeRozan going there, even though he does, and I think what kind of hurts him a little bit too is the fact that, number one, he's a mid-range jumper shooter. He doesn't really do a lot of the three-point. Most of his shots are mid-range or to the basket, number one. Number two, you got Zach LaVine, LaMelo Ball, and the list goes on of support around you. So they're going to basically make the argument that he's not carrying the team, even though they're number one. And whereas Joel Embiid has put that team on his back and he's scoring 35, 36 points a game, blah, 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 blah. Right. But here's the deal, in my opinion. when you're shooting 35 points a game roughly and you're averaging 50% or better shooting and you just beat Wilt Chamberlain for that record, how does that not put you in MVP conversation? In my mind, it absolutely puts you in that MVP conversation, and I think he should be seriously looked at for the MVP, Logan. What do you think?
100%. I mean, the Bulls are one of the top teams in the NBA right now, led by, like you said, Lonzo, Vucevic, Patrick Williams was there for a little bit, and all the other great acquisitions they've had recently. He's top four in points per game with 28.1. Like you mentioned earlier this week, he broke a record set by Wilt Chamberlain, and anytime you can break anything set by Wilt Chamberlain, that's a feat in of itself. So it was on this past Wednesday, he became the first player in history to score 35 or more points and shoot 50% or better in 7 straight games. That's unheard of, Jay.
Right.
It really is. So that lets you know he's putting up a lot of points in an efficient manner also. And I think that he should definitely be in the MVP conversation. I think he's probably top 5. You could probably, like you mentioned, you have Giannis, you have Joel, you got Jokic, and DeMar, and whoever else in the league. And I definitely think you need to have him in there. I mean, it's a shame that he's not getting talked about more because, I mean, we've never really seen this from him, Jay. He's always been a good player back when he was with the Raptors and with the Spurs. But now it seems like since he got to Chicago, he's kind of breaking out into that maybe next level of what he can really be. And he still has a good bit of basketball left in him. He's only 32, right? So he's experienced. He's been in the league for a while. He's probably got at least maybe 5 years or more left in the league if he wants to keep playing that long. And I don't know if they're going to give him. I don't think they would give him the MVP, but I definitely think he deserves a couple of votes.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with you. I don't think they do give it to him, but I think he definitely should be seriously looked at in that conversation. Yeah. But, I think it's just the fact that, he has the amount of help that he has. I think that's going to detract a little bit. The naysayers are going to say, well, look what Embiid is doing. And he doesn't have, nowhere near the star power that, Chicago's looking at. So it's always going to be a hindrance to him. But I just don't understand how you can overlook the field goal percentage, the points. I mean, I just don't know how you overlook something like that. But it is what it is. And we'll have to wait and still see. But I guess the way it's looking for me, it's almost looking like, they're going to wind up giving it to Embiid if I was a betting man.
Right.
But all right, folks, we have come to the end of the show. Final thoughts, Logan. What you got?
Well, as you know, Jay, I'm a diehard Carolina Hurricanes fan now. And they got the win the other night, right? They beat the Nashville Predators by a score of 5-3, looking good after the All-Star break. And they are now sitting with 70 points, leading or tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Eastern Conference, Eastern Division, looking good there. A top 5 team right now in terms of points, looking solid there. And we'll see how they can do with the playoffs coming up soon. But let's go to my boys. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I'm still. Hey, listen, I got to go back and look. I have not been keeping up with my Dallas Stars, but I will say this: I feel like hockey. That's one of the sports I really got to get better at, Logan. I don't follow it enough.
They don't show any of it on ESPN, Jay. You got to do it yourself.
I know, man. I know.
You gotta grind and put some work in yourself.
I know, man. I know.
On the other ones.
But as I look at it, they're not. I mean. Gosh, Lee, man, Colorado's killing it, man. Their record is 36-9. Mm-hmm. Minnesota's at 30-13, and so forth. And then I look at Dallas, and we're like 27-19, just barely in it. And we're like,
you're in the middle of the pack.
Golly, man.
56 points.
I don't think Dallas is going to do anything this year, but the problem is, Logan, out here in Georgia, I don't get a lot of NHL games. No, I get maybe a couple here and there, and maybe sporadically. I guess I have to start maybe finding alternate ways to watch it.
Yeah, I think the only way you can, if you have certain cable networks, you've got the NHL network, they might show a few, or I think ESPN Plus shows a good amount of them too. So those are the only 2 options I can think of legally of how to watch them, and that's how we always prefer all of our fans to watch those streams. 100%.
All right, folks. Hey, please, again, like I was saying, make sure you like, share, and comment our stuff. We always appreciate it. We appreciate the comments. Mm-hmm. And again, if you could throw some topics into the comments, we will cover those topics on our next show. And we really want to kind of drive the fan interaction with those topics. I think it makes for a lot more interesting show. And we do appreciate you guys. And until Saturday.
Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Because today is Saturday, so why would we come back the same?
I don't know, Jay, but we'll see them on Tuesday. Play the video and get us out of here.
That Dementia's a hell of a son of a bitch.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.